My name is Kyle. I'm 17 years old. This is my mom and my dad, Daisy and Don. I have a twin brother, Devin, and two older brothers, Sean and Zachary. Until recently, my life was pretty normal. I did well in school. I played basketball and football. I went out with my friends and with my girlfriend. And then one day, last winter, on February 7th, all that changed in a heartbeat. I was sitting in chemistry class talking to my friends, and that was it. I don't remember much. I don't remember the morning of. I don't remember the day before.
Kyle had a massive heart attack, a sudden cardiac arrest. I guess it's good he doesn't remember it. I wish my memory would go away for that. After they called me, I rushed to the school, and I saw the ambulance right in front of his classroom. It was raining that day, and I started running towards the classroom. All I could see is the lights on the ambulance flashing. Somehow I tripped over the curb and did a flip on the ground. And I get up, and I get to the classroom, and all of a sudden a fireman stops me, and he goes, "Are you Mr. Larson?" And I say, "Yes." And then all of a sudden I see Kyle. They're bringing him out. I could see the monitor, and I saw the rhythm, but I couldn't see my child moving.
We beg God to take us instead. We will trade our life for His without even thinking.
But that day on February 7th, if there was a textbook on the chain of survival, it could not have been written any better. His teacher was trained and ready. He knew CPR, and he didn't hesitate to use it. He quickly instructed others around him to help. Another teacher rushed to grab the automatic external defibrillator, or AED device. The police and fire department arrived quickly with their emergency medical teams. They continued to do CPR on Kyle and used the AED. In the end, they did manage to bring Kyle's pulse back.
I work at the hospital, and when I got the call, I lost it. My coworker took me to the ER. Then Kyle arrived in the ambulance. The ER doctor, she's telling me they had to put a tube down to his throat to take over the breathing.
The entire time they were working on him, there were so many people in there. I don't know how they fit so many people in that little room. There was lab there was someone standing by with an x-ray machine, tons of nurses, techs, doctors. We were right across the hallway. We could see everything that was going on. Then I heard someone saying, "Let's get him all cleaned up." That felt good. Because stuff was all over. They had to cut off his shirt, and they had to cut off his jacket. And when someone just said, "Let's get him clean," those simple little words, for some reason, felt good. So when they wheeled him out in front of us, he had a nice gown on, and they fixed his hair.
Then they told us they were going to take Kyle for MRI and run all the tests, and to meet them in the ICU in the waiting room.
And even though we worked there, both of us were so numb that they told us ICU waiting room, and we were both, where do we go? We didn't know what to do. So one of the ER staff walked us over to the ICU.
In the ICU, we met with the pulmonologist. And he met the whole family. And of course, he see us crying, all of us there. I begged him. I said, never give up on him. That's what I told him. And he started crying with us too. And he said, "I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to be crying." But to me, when I saw the doctor cry, I thought he was a human. He had a heart. They really care. You know what I mean? And the whole time in the ICU, everyone is being so supportive. The way they took care of Kyle and took care of us. I will never forget our first two nurses. There's like a wall, a big ivy thing.
Yeah, there was stuff everywhere. He had intubation tube going, a machine breathing for him, a hypothermia line going through his femoral artery. The nurse took her time to explain each drug to us. She could see that we were scared, and she wanted to reassure us. So many people had their hands on taking care of him and taking care of us. There were housekeepers, nutrition services. Everyone came to us, not just to do their job, but they prayed with us, or they hugged us, or they just sat there with us. And they made sure we were fed, that Daisy and I were eating something. Volunteers always greeted us in the ICU waiting area and offered coffee or brought us over tissue. One came to us and sang a gospel song.
And chaplain service came and asked if we wanted the prayer, and we said yes.
You know, it's outside of the medical field, and that's one of the things I think was really great in involving the whole person, spirit, and body. And it just gave us a little relief. It gave us hope.
After 4 days in ICU, the doctor thought he was ready. They said, let's pull the tube. They brought him out of the sedation, and I said, Kyle, do you know me? And he just kept staring and staring at my face. I'm getting nervous. Then finally said, you're my mom. It was beautiful the way he said, you're my mom. And then I said, oh my God, praise the Lord. And we were all crying. Everybody, the nurse, the doctor, all crying because we're so happy. We're cheering for us because he's back.
And right away, we called his brother. It was during school, and I told Devin, I have someone that wanted to talk to you. And he goes, Dad, I'm in school. And I hand the phone over to Kyle, and he said, what are you doing, Devin? You could hear Devin crying. I could hear Devin say, Kyle, is that you? Kyle goes, yeah, who else? And then you could hear Devin start crying, and Kyle says, shut up, stop crying.
Shut up, stop crying.
I go, okay, Kyle's back.
They showed me all the pictures of my family and asked me, who's this? They then showed me a poster from my football team. Everybody had written something on it. Then my mom showed me a picture of my girlfriend. I started to cry. I was like, she doesn't want to be with me anymore, with a guy with a whole bunch of problems. But then they gave me a phone and she called and she was like, I'm coming, don't worry, I'll be there.
I told Kyle she was there pretty much every day from the beginning. In the ICU, it was clear that Kyle's cognitive function had been affected. A lot of it had to do with the sedation and just the overall trauma that he went through. Speech therapists came in and really worked with him, and they made sure I had a role too. They had me help him with his testing. And then later, when he came back home, those little exercises they taught me in the hospital helped tremendously in getting him back to his normal. We would go for walks outside and we would do simple addition just to get his brain working again. And he did come back. He even made it to honor roll at school in just a few months after leaving the hospital.
Of course, Devin said the teachers felt sorry for me.
Then they put a defibrillator in his chest.
Before that, I was pretty scared. Like, they just said, and we're going to put something in you. I'm like, okay. I didn't get the details.
Then a nurse director at the Heart Institute brought a model of the defibrillator to Kyle so he could see what it looked like. Because, you know, all that talk of we're going to place a device in you, we're going to hook up a wire up to your heart, he was like, how, what, when, where? She explained things to him, made it more understandable for him.
Yeah, that helped a lot. She gave me the details and showed me how it works.
They made us feel like no matter what question we had, it's okay to ask. And he got the defibrillator on Valentine's Day, a Valentine's gift. Kyle cardiologist, kind of became like Kyle's second dad.
He's really, really nice. He always jokes around with me. We always talk trash about basketball teams. Like, he likes the Warriors, I like the Lakers, and we always go back and forth. He explains things to me that I can understand. He breaks it down simple, and he makes you feel comfortable.
From ICU, they moved Kyle to a step-down unit, a cardiac floor. I'm in Kyle's room, and the CNA comes in and says, "Do you need anything?" I said, I'm going to call my wife and have her come to the hospital to replace me so I can take a shower. I really wanted to take a shower. And she goes, "I'll be right back." So one of the nurses comes back in and says, "I heard you wanted to take a shower." She brought some towels in for me and said, "Go ahead and take a shower here in the room." And that made a huge difference. It was just a very simple gesture that meant so much. To me, it meant, your son's safe. You go take a shower. So finally, Kyle was getting ready to go home from the hospital, and he needed to have seizure medication that was very expensive. We paid for it out of our own pocket initially. The hospitalist coordinator, she worked with us to make sure we get the pre-approval and helped us get the reimbursement for the medication.
And the discharge planner, she got us a doctor's appointment for Kyle with a regular doctor for follow-up. It was all taken care of even before we left.
She asked us if we needed anything at home, like a bed or a wheelchair. I couldn't think of anything right away. And then she gave me her card, so if I could think of anything, just to give her a call, she said. And I've seen this before, that the discharge plan nurses give their cards out to the patients, and it has their number on it. And it never really dawned on me how much that really meant. That made us feel reassured because you never prepared for anything like this. You just don't know what you really need.
When he first came home, he asked, "Did the Super Bowl happen?" And his brother said, "Yeah." He goes, "Who won?" And they watched the football game together.
Since then, we're trying to get back to normal. He's ready. He wants to go and do stuff. He wants to spread his wings, just like a normal teenager. Daisy and I are having a hard time letting him go.
We check in all the time. I say, "Where are you? What are you doing? Are you okay?" And then he say, "Mom, I'm okay."
This whole thing has changed our perspective on life. I don't think we'll ever take anything for granted anymore, because it can change in a snap of a finger. Through it all, we are grateful to everyone who had been involved in caring for Kyle and our family. There are so many of you. All of you do amazing work and always placed us as a family at the center of your work. You work together as a team, and you work together as a connected, caring community. From our school to our first responders, to our community hospital, and beyond, thank you for getting us Kyle back.
Kyle, what is that you always say? All of you.
All of you are always going to have a special place in my heart.
God, hear my prayer. In my need, you have always been there. He is young. Afraid, let him rest. Heaven blessed. Bring him home. him home. He's like the sun I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summers fly one by one, how soon they fly undone, and I am old and will be gone. Bring him peace, bring him joy. He is young, he is only a boy. You can take, you can give. Let him be